This screencast covers the course information and syllabus. If you have not already done so, please print out a copy of the course information and syllabus that I have provided to you. I encourage you to stop the screencast where appropriate and read on the various topics that I am discussing. Also, if you have not already done so, I encourage you to read the syllabus from beginning to end, make any notes or write down any questions that you may have so that I can address them on the first day of class. In this screencast, I will discuss the following topics. I will provide you with my contact information. I will discuss information about when and where the class meets. I will discuss the prerequisites for the course. I will discuss the textbook and lab manual required for the course. I will go into some detail about how your grade will be determined. I will discuss my policy on missing exams and quizzes. We will discuss the schedule of your lab and lectures. I will discuss withdrawing for the course. And lastly, I will talk briefly about the online learning center which supports your book, and also about McGraw-Hill Connect. The information contained on your course information and syllabus is very important. It is basically your owner's manual and handbook for the class. It is an agreement between me, your instructor, and you, the student. So make sure that you become familiar with its content and that you refer to it often. If you were to lose your hard copy of the course information and syllabus, there is an electronic copy available on Blackboard. My contact information is found on the first page. My office is B2200, which is located on the second floor, very close to the escalators. You can reach me by phone as well as by email. I try to reply to all emails within 48 hours. Typically, though, I'll respond within 24 hours. My office hours are listed as well. Office hours are times that I make myself available to work exclusively with students. My Monday office hours are held in my office. However, on Wednesday and Friday, my office hours are held in the Student Achievement Center that is located on the second floor in the new portion of the building, what's referred to as the Gateway Center. Although I make myself available to students, very few students actually take advantage of office hours. So my message to you is, I am here for you. Please use me. Come and see me during my office hours. Class information is found on page 1 of your syllabus. This class starts on Monday, August 26th, and runs for 16 weeks, with the 17th week being reserved for your final exam. The lecture portion of the class will be on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 11:30 to 12:20 in room B3279, that is on the 3rd floor. You are in one of 2 labs. If you are in section 3, you are in the lab that meets from 9:30 to 11:20. If you are in section 4, you are in the lab that meets from 12:30 to 2:20. All labs are in room 3885, that's E3885, also located on the 3rd floor. The prerequisites for the course are listed on page 2. If you do not meet these prerequisites, I strongly suggest that you withdraw from the course. Students who do not meet these prerequisites do not tend to perform very well in this course. Textbook information is shown on page 2. Our textbook is Anatomy and Physiology, The Unity of Form and Function. The author is Kenneth Saladin. The current edition is the 6th edition. However, you can use previous editions. Say if you had a friend that took the class and they had the 5th edition and you got it from them for nothing or for a very low cost, or if you went on Amazon.com and got a previous edition, that is just fine. The lab manual is a customized lab manual. I've customized it for your class, and it's only available either through our bookstore or directly from McGraw-Hill. It is very important that you obtain these books as soon as possible. If you don't have the money to purchase these books, there are loans available for students. I have a link from Blackboard to the part of the MATC website that provides information on that. Also, you can obtain both the textbook and the lab manual as well as McGraw-Hill as a package through our bookstore. If you choose to purchase the textbook from another source because it's cheaper, you'll have to buy the McGraw-Hill Connect directly from McGraw-Hill using a credit card. And I'll talk a little bit more about that a little later. Grading information is found on pages 2 and 3. Your lecture is worth 60% of your overall grade, or 600 points out of 1,000. You will have several quizzes throughout the semester. They will be online quizzes. You will use the McGraw-Hill Connect to take these quizzes. I will drop the lowest of the 2 quizzes, take the remaining quizzes, and average them together for a total of 100 points, or 10% of your grade. You will have 3 in-class exams. Each one will be worth 100 points. I will drop your lowest in-class exam. You will have 4 assignments which you will complete outside of class. They will be open note, open book. I'll encourage you to discuss the material with other students. Those 4 assignments will collectively be worth 100 total points, 25 points each for a total of 100 points, or 10% of your grade. At the end of the semester during final exam week, you will have a final exam. A final exam is worth 200 points, or 20% of your overall grade. Lab is worth 40% of your overall grade, or 400 points. You will have 3 lab practicals. Each one will be worth 133.3 points each. In actuality, I'll probably assign 134 points to your first practical and 133 to the second and third. And that'll equal 400 points. You will also have quizzes weekly. The quizzes will be extra credit. What I'll do is I'll average your quizzes at the end of the year, and then I'll multiply the percentage by 20 points. For example, let's say that your average quiz grade is 50% for ease of math. I'll take 0.5 or 50% times 20, and you would get 10 points of extra credit. The grading scale is shown on page 3. You can accumulate a maximum of 1,000 points. That does not include extra credit. The grading scale is self-explanatory. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact me. So, to summarize grading information, you will have 3 in-class exams. I drop your lowest exam, and the remaining 2 contribute 100 points each. Your quizzes will contribute 100 points after I drop your lowest 2 quizzes. You will have 4 assignments that you will complete outside of class. Each assignment will be worth 25 points. Altogether, they are worth 100 points. You'll have a final exam worth 200 points. When you add all of these assignments and exams and quizzes up, you get a total of 600 points, or 60% of your total grade. You will have 3 lab practicals, each worth technically 133 and a third point. Again, I'll probably weight your first practical a little heavier than the second and third because it tends to be the easier of the three. So 134 points first practical, and the second and third practicals 133 points each, for a total of 400 points. So when you add the points from your lecture and points from your lab, you get a total possible points of 1,000. Your grades will be posted in the grade center of Blackboard, and they'll be updated regularly. So you take an exam, I grade the exam, I post the score, and I update your overall grades. So you should know at any given time in the course how you are performing. I am always amazed by the number of students that have no real idea how they're performing in a course. You should know at any given point in my course or any other course where you stand. How do you know if you need help, or how much additional time you need to spend in a course if you don't know how well you are performing? You should know at all times how you're performing in a course. Let's talk about missed work. First, missed work in lecture. So if you miss a quiz or you miss an exam, I will not allow you to make them up. Now, this may sound a bit rigid. However, I want you to remember that I drop your 2 lowest quizzes and I drop your lowest exam of 3. So if there's a family emergency, or you get sick, or any number of things occur that do not allow you to prepare adequately for an exam or quiz, or allow you to make it to class to take the exam, no worries, it gets dropped. Now, if, however, you have a schedule conflict, like let's say there's an exam coming up and you know that you have a schedule conflict where you have to be somewhere else, or something's happening and you're not going to be able to make it to class, right? You can arrange for an alternate time and day to take an exam, typically before the regularly scheduled exam. But I will work with you on the front end. What I will not work with you on is in the back end, right? If you just don't show up for an exam, 0, and I drop it. However, if you can look ahead and you see that you have a schedule conflict, I'll work with you there. So when I say there are no makeup exams or quizzes, there are no makeup exams in situations where you haven't met with me and prearranged for an alternate time or day. There will be a significant penalty for turning assignments in late. If an assignment is turned in a day late, 20 to 25% will automatically be deducted. If the assignment is more than a week late, 30% will be deducted, and there are no ifs, ands, or buts. If you feel that something may come up that might not allow you to turn an assignment in on time, I suggest you turn it in early. I have no problem with you giving the assignment to another student to turn in if you can't make it to class or something like that occurs. Let's talk about missing work in lab. So there will be no makeup quizzes for lab allowed. If you miss a quiz, it's 0. Remember that your quizzes in lab are extra credit. So if you're there for the extra credit, you get it. If you're not there, you don't get it. Plain and simple. With respect to practicals, if you have a schedule conflict, let's say you look at your syllabus and you look at the lab schedule and you can see, oh, I'm not going to be there on such and such a date, right? Something very important is occurring the week of your first exam and practical exam, you're not going to be here. Let me know ahead of time. We can pre-arrange another day and another time for taking the practical without penalty. However, If you miss a practical, I will allow you to make it up. However, there's going to be an automatic 10% reduction in your score. Also, because it takes a lot of time to put a practical together, I do reserve the right to give the makeup practical during final exams, or during final exam week, rather. A tentative schedule is shown on pages 3 through 6. If you look at the schedule, you'll see that for each week, I show the exact dates that we will meet for lecture and the topics that I intend to cover. Also, you'll see the dates of all the exams and also the chapters from your book that will be covered on each exam. Now, this is a tentative schedule because we may cover the material a little faster or a little slower than what I have actually listed on the schedule. If we don't cover the material as quickly as I have scheduled it, then an exam might be pushed back. So it is a tentative schedule. What is correct, however, is the order in which we will cover the material and what chapters will be covered on each exam. But the exact dates may vary by a day or two. You'll also see each week in italics I have listed the lab topic, and I also have the dates that you'll have your lab practicals. The lab portion of the course is pretty much set in stone. The only way that we would vary anything in lab would be if, for example, the university or the college rather closed for a week. There was a tornado or something catastrophic that closed the campus down for the greater part or a full week. And that's never happened. I don't foresee it happening this year. So for the most part, that lab schedule is pretty much set in stone. The last day to withdraw from the course is December 8th. So the situation is, if you're not doing terribly well in the course, it may be in your best interest to withdraw from the course and not get a grade, rather than, say, stay in the course and get a D or F. It is your responsibility as the student to know where you stand in terms of your grade. At all times, I will update Blackboard regularly, so you should know where you stand, and then make a decision by the withdrawal date. If you do not withdraw prior to the withdrawal date, you will get a grade for the course. Instructors cannot withdraw students from the course. That is something that only the student can do themselves. I want to encourage you to read through the responsibilities and policies found on pages 6 through 8 of your syllabus. While I am not going to cover them and discuss them in this screencast, you are going to be held responsible for being familiar with them and adhering to them. So it would do you credit to read through them and make sure you have a clear understanding of these responsibilities and policies. On pages 8 and 9, I have listed various resources that you can use to help learn the material associated with the course. I will not elaborate on any of these resources further. I'll leave it to you to read through the material and ask any questions that you may have. I am going to, however, discuss the first two resources, which are the Online Learning Center and the McGraw-Hill Connect. The Online Learning Center is the website provided by the publisher of your book. You do not have to have an access code or password. It is free and open. There is a link from Blackboard to the website. Also, if you open up a digital copy of the syllabus, there is a live link that will take you directly to this website. The website has answer keys, practice tests, and various study tools for each chapter. And again, it is free and access is open to everyone. You are required to have access to McGraw-Hill Connect. This is a web-based assignment and assessment platform. It will provide you with many opportunities to practice the material you learned in class. Also, it will allow you to test your knowledge of the material or do what's called self-assessment. Lastly, all of your quizzes will be given online through McGraw-Hill Connect. So you are required to purchase access to McGraw-Hill Connect. I will be providing you with separate instructions on your options for purchasing your books as well as for purchasing McGraw-Hill Connect. However, if you've already purchased your book and you already have access to McGraw-Hill Connect, then go to this website and follow the instructions. You will need the code that came with your book. If you have difficulty, again, I will be providing separate instructions on your book purchasing options and also options for purchasing access to McGraw-Hill Connect. Before we end, let's review the topics that were covered. I discussed my contact information, class information, the prerequisites for the course, the textbook and lab manual required for the course, how your grade would be determined, my policies on missed work, the schedule of both the lab and lecture, the way in which you withdraw from a course, and finally I discussed the online learning center that supports your book and McGraw-Hill Connect. I want to encourage you to make sure that you read through the syllabus from beginning to end. If there's anything that you do not understand or if you have any questions at all, please write them down and bring them with you to the first day of class. I will ask the class if there are any questions about the syllabus, and that is the time to ask so that I can clarify anything that you may have questions about. With that, I look forward to seeing you in class.